very good evening to you and a warm welcome to this edition of Breeding to Win. We had some exciting racing last weekend at Turfentine Racecourse and unfortunately some disappointing moments as well, especially for the Mike de Kock stable when the SA Derby favourite Hawam got scratched after injuring himself in the parade ring, and then their other favourite Noble Secret was withdrawn at the start of the Caradoc Gold Cup in the very next race. As the saying goes, that's racing. But the good news is that both horses are okay, and we're hoping to see Hawam back in action on Champions Day, the 4th of May. More about the Derby Day later on. Right now it's time to take a look at what's on tonight's show. I chat to my studio guest, Piers Stradham, about his brilliant feature race Derby Day double. We bring you an update on Pomodoro with Return Flight winning the SA Oaks. Fiona visits Julia Pilbeam to discuss Sutendal and her various graduates and services offered. And finally, we bring you another Freeman Stallion profile. One of South Africa's top jockeys produced a feature race double last Saturday in the form of Piers Stradham. He won the SA Oaks aboard Return Flight for trainer Sean Terry, and the very next race he brought home Samurai Warrior for trainer Wayo Moying. It's my pleasure to welcome back to the Breeding to Win studio, Piers Stradham. Congratulations, lovely day.
Thank you, Jules. Very nice, yes.
And obviously a little bit of a surprise with Samurai Warrior, but Return Flight, she was one of the favourites, Piers, so you know, she always had a chance in the SA Oaks.
Yeah, Return Flight was very nice to get the ride back. I rode it 2 starts before that, and it was over a mile against Year's Honour, level weights, and she ran second, so it was quite a good run. And then the next time I didn't get the ride, so I was quite disappointed. And then, well, she obviously won the race too. And then I asked Sean if I could ride one of his horses, you know, beggars can't be choosers. And then it happened that Anton Marcus was riding in Dubai, and then obviously Sean said I could ride a horse for him, and at the very last minute he put me on Return Flight. So it was very nice to know you're riding a horse with a big chance, especially since I haven't been doing that well of late. Obviously I'm a little bit worried about the distance. And the race just worked out beautifully, and I was glad to crack a feature race winner.
Things have been a little bit quiet for you, as you pointed out, for a while. What do you put that down to?
Age. You know what, there are a lot of jockeys that are attached to stables. Personally, I think the smaller yards are getting smaller, and the bigger yards are getting bigger. So if you're not in a bigger yard, you just your rides are going to dry up. And obviously the younger guys are hungrier, they work harder, and I obviously want to do as well as I possibly can. But the days where I used to travel all across the country and trying to win championships is probably behind me. And I think just in general people sort of know that, and so your rides are automatically going to dry up. And if you don't then still produce the goods, people will write you off quickly. So, yeah, I don't feel I'm running indifferent. It's just that you don't get the chances. You don't get the same chances. And if you don't get the chances, you can't ride winners. And
yeah, you need the horses under you.
For sure.
Absolutely. Let's just quickly touch on Return Flight and her stamina, because as you pointed out, there was a question mark about it. And she stayed so beautifully that 2,450 meters. And You know, one thing that you've got in your favour, Pierre, is you've always been known as a great judge of pace. And I think when you go to those marathon trips, pace is so important in a race.
Yeah, pace is always important, but it helps to ride for the trainers that just don't put any pressure on you. I'm not sure if Sean was doubtful about the distance, but he did want me to give a bit of a conservative ride. And when I galloped it the week before, we also tried to tuck her in behind because she's been leading from the front. When I rode over the mile, she stayed on nice, but she was just out-sprinted. And obviously she was out at the weights in that race, so it was going to be hard for her to win the race. But she never stopped. And I was sort of confident on that run that she would definitely stay the distance. But the last time when she won, she was fading at the end, or the other horses were catching her. So that definitely put a doubt in my mind whether she'll see the distance. Then the race, as I said, with Sean, just he gives you instructions, but that's plan A, and then you have plan B. So it's so nice that you can do what you want him to do, but if it's not going to work out, you've got to use your own discretion.
Yeah.
And well, the race worked out beautifully because she came out very quick, and I thought, well, this is not really what Sean wants, but I'm going to leave my options open just for the first little bit, and found myself in front. And when Craig Zaki came on the outside, he obviously realised I was going a little bit slow, and knowing that Sean didn't really want me to lead, unless it just works out like that. So I looked across my shoulder and I said to Craig, you know, either I'm going to have to lead or you're going to lead, because if we next to one another,
you're going to cut each other's throats.
Cut one another's throat, and it's not going to help me, it's not going to help him. So at that stage, he obviously took it forward, and so he had the run of the race, I had the run of the race. Obviously, I just had the better horse, and she quickened up really nice and sustained that run all the way to the line.
Yeah,
so,
she did.
Very good one.
Going back a couple of years, it's actually uncanny that you actually got beat on Siren's Call for trainer Sean Terry in the SA Oaks, and she was going for the Triple Tiara, and then a couple of years later, you come and you win on Horse for Him, Return Flight. It's weird how racing sometimes works out.
Yeah, very weird, because it sort of wasn't expected with Return Flight. I know she had a good chance, but I'm saying the lead up to that, you know, I wasn't sure, will I get a ride in the race? Sean put me on a horse with a good chance. But like Siren's Call was so disappointing that everything was, you know, working out well. I think she lost the shoe at the start and she was rearing up and all that. But then in the race itself, everything worked out beautifully. She moved up. I hit the front at the right time. I remember Nika Kritziota still said, and Siren's Call looking like she's going to pull away and win the race. And she just had enough at the end. And unfortunately, we were in second.
Well, you made up for things since then for Sean. Are you going to stay with Return Flight for the Gerald Rosenberg? Because I know possibly that could be her next step. Do you know yet?
It's all up to Sean. I'm grateful sometimes he throws me a bone. I know he's got his jockeys and he's got his system. And I think he's got a very good system. Generally, when a jockey rides a horse, you get kept on the horse until you decide to jump ship. But in general, Sean's very good in that way.
Let's move on to the SA Derby, because going to the races, you didn't think that you could win the SA Derby, obviously competing against Hawam after his fantastic victory in the SA Classic. He was the favourite to win the SA Derby, and it was almost like who was going to run second in that race. And then obviously things happened with Hawam getting scratched, and then all of a sudden Samurai Warrior finds himself in front, and you come through to win the SA Derby. Total surprise.
Complete total surprise. As I said, it's been hard to get right. So from the beginning, Wayo approached me and said, "You've got a ride in the Derby," and I said, "No." Are you interested? I said, "I'll take the ride because I can't get any rides." So I always wasn't sure how good he was, if he's good enough for that opposition.
Because you had never ridden him before.
Yes.
Since Saturday. Yeah.
But I had watched him before, and I knew he'd gone a distance, and he looked like a true stayer. So I immediately said to her, thank you, I'll take the ride. And obviously when the final field was declared, Hawam just looked like a really hard horse to beat. But there were always question marks. I mean, Hawam, we know he's a strong horse, he pulls, he might just fight like he's fought before in the race. So there is always that outside chance that if things go wrong with Hawam, maybe we've got a chance of upsetting the apple cart. But realistically, you've got to look at how he's beaten everything. Hawam's just paralysed anything that was in that field. And so you don't wish it on anyone, but when things went wrong, and I mean, it was the right decision by the vet, I think there were too many question marks that he should have taken part. So I think once he got scratched, all of a sudden all the jocks behind the pens thought, well, now we've got a bit of a chance. I still thought I'd be quite happy with the place. But before the race, in the parading, Washang actually, I mean, he's obviously ridden him and won on him, explained to me and gave me all the instructions. The plan was not to go to the front. Again. But being a stayer, it was pointless trying to make it a slow run race and sprint for home.
Especially when you know that the horses behind you have got question marks about their stamina.
Exactly. There was only one horse, one other horse in the field that had gone over 2,400. And so knowing my horse stays, if someone had to go to the front, obviously they go. But I couldn't ride a canter in a sprint race. And I was a little bit vigorous at the stalls because you want to just get at least a position. And then there was just no one wanting to take it up. And at that stage I thought, well, I'm not going to go a canter. And as I took the lead, then he tried to run off the track, going over the road. And luckily he came back onto the rail. And from there I just rode according to the pace that I thought would suit him. And made sure that got him going early on the straight to make it a staying race. So, you know, in the finish, they were coming. I could hear them. I couldn't see them. I could hear them. And he was trying to run around because he's obviously still hasn't learned exactly what to do. So there's still some improvement to come. And obviously just we're very happy when we got past the winning post first.
Yeah, grade 1 double. Or well, grade 2 and a grade 1. But surely that has to give you a little bit of confidence and a little bit of boost. Yeah?
Massive boost. From trying to, the month before I had one winner for the month, to all of a sudden having 2 winners on one day, but it's a grade 2 and a grade 1. Massive boost. So many people have wished me well in racing, trainers, owners, jockeys. Obviously everyone's taken note, and hopefully that will just give me a little bit of a kickstart again.
Just get your career back in line to ride more winners and get better rides. How do you remain positive as a jockey when those rides, you can see those rides that you really want, start just falling away from you?
It's really tough, Jules, because you know, I haven't done like well in stages. I've basically my whole career I've done well, and to all of a sudden see all these rides just dry up, phoning the trainer for a ride and sorry, you phoned too late, or I've given it away.
Because I mean, at one stage you could phone for any ride, and literally you could get any ride from any trainer.
Well, basically, I would say 60% of the calls I would make, I could get the choice. And if a horse was nominated in this race and horse B was the danger, but he's nominated in that race, I would take horse B in that race and horse A in this race, and they wouldn't clash. So I would have quality rides in 2 races. Well, obviously now there aren't. I'm not attached to a stable, so now it's about getting the rides that I think a lot's in their favour. But you ask for the first choice and you can't get it, then you go to the second choice, third choice, fourth choice, and then sometimes you hear people say, "But why is he riding that?" Well, I couldn't get 1, 2, or 3, but I've got to earn a living. Got young kids, been divorced twice now, so overheads are still there, and you still want to show that you are successful, because success breeds more success. So it's very tough to know that you almost feel like you're a second choice, you're in the back foot. The fact that you ride horses and they can actually improve on form and not get the ride back, that's very tough.
So it's almost like everything's kind of changed in your career. From coming to the top, it's almost like now you've got to start over.
Yeah, and it's almost like when entries come out, I feel like I'm tense because I know I'm going to be turned down all the time, and you're not used to that, and you almost feel like you're not good enough anymore. But luckily, I ride myself, knowing what I do is right. I'm always critical of myself, and I always study form, because to me, form is there. Whether the horse is good enough to win, if I know horse A has beaten me by a length, and the next time I beat that horse A by a length, I've turned the form around. The form might not be good enough to win, but as long as I know I'm improving an horse, I'm doing the job right. So that's just keeping me positive.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Future plans for Pierre Stradum. Tell us what you've got planned.
Yeah, obviously I'd like to just keep going. I've got 2 more years, in my opinion. When I turn 55, I don't want to ride
Is that
another
it?
horse.
55 over?
55.
I thought you were waiting for Jeff Lloyd to retire.
Well, I was, but I'm hoping, but he's older than me. Hopefully by that time he's given it up.
Okay.
So 2 more years. In the meantime, I'm thinking of maybe going to Mauritius just for a little stint and see how that plans, and try and give me a little fresh outlook, something different. Because you can't be going through the same thing in South Africa or in Joburg over and over and get knocked back all the time. It's just not good for you. So Mauritius might just, there'll be a little shake-up, and then I've got 1 more year to go after that. And
then we'll see.
Yeah.
Training?
No way. I think you've got to be mad to train, because financially you depend on other people to pay the bills. So if they don't pay, how do you feed the horses? You've got to be able to pick horses. If you don't have a good eye, you're in trouble. You've got to know how to feed horses. You've got to know how to treat owners. You've got to know how to handicap horses. There are so many avenues.
And you've got to deal with jockeys.
And with jockeys.
Well, Pierre Stradum, whatever you decide in the future, we wish you all the very best, and hopefully this race double will get your career back where it should be. Thank you very much for joining us on the Breeding to Win show. Thank you. The 3-year-old daughter of Pomodoro Return Flight notched up her 2nd graded victory last Saturday when winning the Grade 2 SA Oaks. Purchased for only 20,000 Rand, she has her father's class stamped all over her. Here is an update on the stallion Pomodoro.
Still a low. That's the one they got to get to with 100 metres left to go. In the middle, Majestic Mozart out the back is charging, but Cirillo is coming home to win it. Cirillo has swept into the lead, into the closing stages, and if you banker this one, you can put the number in the frame. Cirillo wins it from Elusive Trader. We're into the final 100. Pacific Chestnut down the inside. Cedar Man is coming again. Pacific Chestnut, Cedar Man, Pacific Chestnut from Cedar Man.
Return Flight starts to wander off a true line. Nefarious running brave. Storm Destiny, but it's still Return Flight. Nefarious needs to rattle back. Return Flight from start to finish. Return Flight won it. Return Flight has hit the front in the SA Oaks. Second place, Seville Orange. Blossom up the inside, starts to realise what to do. Pretty Border and Bees on next. Return Flight in front. Blossom tries to have a go, but clear the runway. Return Flight stays every inch. Return Flight beat Blossom.
One of South Africa's national heritage sites is the Soetendal Estate. Nestled in the scenic mountains of Limmerberg, it provides thoroughbred owners, trainers and breeders with top quality services. Fiona chats to Julia Pilbeam to find out more.
It's been a very long time since we filmed here at Soetendal, and it's lovely to be here this afternoon with Julia Pilbeam to have a chat about the farm and what's going on here. Julia, lovely to be here again.
Thank you for coming. It's lovely to host you.
I must say Soetendal is looking absolutely fabulous, and we've had a bit of rain. It's looking so green and lush and really does look well.
Thank you so much. I have to give credit to the maintenance team for that.
And of course we know you're very popular with all the trainers these days. I mean, you've got a great setup here for spelling, pre-training, getting babies ready. I mean, you've got a track, you've got wonderful paddocks, wonderful facilities. We're very lucky to have supported some fantastic trainers, been with us for quite a long time. I'd like to mention Eric Sands. When we moved here, he started us single-handedly, sent horses, has supported us all the way through. So we were really excited to have Rainbow Bridge back for a spell recently, and to see the success he's had with that great horse. That's right, and we filmed him back in the yard the other day, and he looks absolutely fantastic after his breakout here. Yeah, he's was a pleasure to have around, I must say. It's so exciting for you to be involved with some of these top horses. I mean, he's just one of a few, because you've been involved with Undercover Agent, with, of course, the recent win of Return Flight was fantastic, and Miss Frankel, she's been here as well. So you've been associated with some really top names.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun working with those horses and seeing them do well when they go back. It's really rewarding. We can't give them ability with what we do, but you know, we put a lot of TLC in and that kind of thing. And one of the ones very close to my heart is Captain America, and it's great to see him retired with one of his owners now. And there have been several over the years, 2 Horse of the Years, Irish Flame, Futura, Champion Sprinter via Africa. Her dam is still here. She has a William Longsword filly foal at foot. You know, One World, who's doing so well this season, he's grade 1 placed, and Majestic Mambo, who ran in Dubai. So there's no end of interest for us to watch our babies race.
Yeah, absolutely. You must watch the TV all the time and follow them. And of course, Tapanothi won the Guineas, and it doesn't stop, does it? You've been associated with a lot of top horses. And Edict of Nantes, of course, he went to Hong Kong, and he was hugely successful as well.
Yes, he was a really good horse. I don't know if we saw the best of him. And I hope there's some more in this new 2-year-old crop. We've had some babies that went in early that have run really well so far. Captain of Stealth was a good winner for Vaughan. Also Ground Control, and Miss Honey, that's won a listed race already. So there's several exciting babies to watch out for.
Yeah, and that must fill you with pride. But that's not all you do here. Obviously, you help the trainers out and you give their horses breaks and keep them fit and ticking over while they're out on the farm. But you've got the foaling, you've got the babies, you get ready for sales and ready to run. There's quite a lot going on out here.
That's right. It's just getting busy again now. December to March is fairly quiet and we all take a bit of a breather. But now the new babies are being started. Some of the trainers, like horses started quite early, and we go nice and slowly with them. And then we have several spellers in rehab or just resting at the moment. We have a separate barn for them with their own paddocks, and they do really well up there. It's quiet and they're not anywhere near the track or the other babies. And of course, we'll gear up after nationals. We'll see how our Ready to Run draft will look for this year. Last year it was a much bigger draft than we've had before, but the logistics of the business change every year as trainers want their horses in earlier or later, and we have more or less space, so we take it as it comes.
Yeah, you've been doing very well with the Ready to Run, and of course you had the support of Claverflay last year because they shut down their own centre for pre-training, and so you did that and you sold very well.
Yes, they sent us some lovely horses. They really supported us. We're very thankful, and yeah, hopefully they will again this year, and we'll see how it goes. But it's always a stressful time of year for us, but also very rewarding, and the staff were great last year and they're looking forward to it again.
I was going to say, you've got a great team of staff, and obviously amongst them you've got some really good riders because you've got your own track here and you're able to get on with some of those horses and do a little bit of work before they go in.
Yes, our main core of riders, they've been with us for quite a long time, and they know the babies. They know how the babies' minds work, they know how to bring them on, they know their ins and outs, and it makes life a pleasure for me. They carry on teaching the babies once they're on the track, and it's certainly a team effort. And our 2 lead horses as well, and we have a little old pony that's 33, they're all part of the team.
Well, it's fantastic because, as I said, there's lots going on here because you board brood mares and you've got the foaling and you've got the getting the yearlings ready and the horses in training, but you've also got a rehabilitation program going as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we sometimes have horses that have damaged a tendon or have other various have a hiccup or so, and we just work with the vets as to what program the horse needs. Does it need to walk for 40 minutes a day on the hard, or does it need whatever? We just do our best to follow the program.
Well, your facilities look second to none. You've got lovely paddocks, it's lovely and green here, and as I said, you've got the track, you've got about 80 boxes, and you're 15 minutes from Wellington and 45 minutes from the Drakenstein Veterinary Hospital, so perfectly situated. Yes,
when we moved here we didn't really think about all those things, but it has worked out really well for us, and tar road right to the doorstep. Close enough for the trainers to pop out after morning work to come and see their horses, and owners from Cape Town anytime. So that's worked out well for us.
And off air, you were telling me your husband's got a whole new project that's going to be opening soon, and that's going to be very exciting as well.
It is exciting. It's got nothing to do with me, but he's opening a wedding and conference venue. It should be ready in September to open. But of course, I'm just looking at it from my point of view. We'll be able to host owners and trainers when they come and see their horses, be able to stay and entertain them for a breakfast or a lunch. So it's just adds to something that our clients can do here.
Absolutely, they're going to love it. Come and see their horses and have a special time as well, because you're surrounded by mountains. It is absolutely gorgeous here.
No, we never want to leave the farm. No one wants to go to town. We just want to stay here. We've also bought a new piece of ground on the end of our property. It's 8 hectares. So we're busy with a 2-hectare dam and some more staff accommodation, and probably about 5 hectares of paddocks. So that'll just add to the facilities.
And when the trainers send their horses here, they obviously have a break, but you tend to keep them ticking over so they don't lose too much fitness.
Yes, it depends on what the trainers want. So if horses are here for 2 weeks, he might just be in the paddock, but a bit longer often they do. They just go for a trot every morning before they go to the paddock. That's what Rainbow Bridge did. I say it depends on what the trainer wants.
Yeah, well, he looks absolutely magnificent, and he's gone back in looking wonderful, and he's off to Durban next, so that's going to be something for you to follow for the rest of the season.
Yes, I'll have to go to Durban one of these days.
Yeah, no, you're doing an absolutely brilliant job, and we're going to take a look around and do some filming here this morning. But thanks for taking your time this morning to chat to us, Julia. Doing a fantastic job, and I love following your horses. You're doing really well.
Oh, thanks so much, very kind words.
It's lovely to be here at Sittendale again. As I said, the farm is looking absolutely fantastic. We're going to take a look at the facilities this morning, and some of the farm really is looking great, and Julia's doing a fabulous job on the racecourse. She's proving she's doing a great job with some wonderful results.
Freeman Stallions' primary objective as stallion managers is to keep their customers in business, and they do that extremely well by representing super sires in their portfolio. Let's take a look at one of their stallion profiles.
Gimme the green light, has it all. Looks. Racing class. Pedigree. And power. He stalks like a leopard. Race like a deer. His progeny pounce like lions. 2016 South African champion freshman sire. 2017 South African champion second crop sire. 2018 second leading active sire of 3-year-olds. Gimme the Green Light is the first 3-year-old to win the Lomaron Queen's Plate in over 40 years, and also became the highest rated 3-year-old in South Africa. He was also the only horse ever to beat Dual Horse of the Year Variety Club twice. Gimme the Green Light has Grade 1 winners from both of his first 2 crops, including his very talented son Surcharge, who has since been exported to race overseas, and Gunner, who distinguished himself as a leading 2-year-old of his generation.
National Park with 150 to go is clear in the Gauteng Guineas, 3 lengths clear. Hawam's back in second and Barra in, but National Park from the Eastern Cape pulls off the opening leg of the Triple Crown. National Park beat Hawam. Third place will go to Barra.
Gimme the Green Light also has 5 other Grade 1 horses and 34 stakes horses.
At Green and Green Pepper coming down to the line, arch to close. Clawback Legend still in front, and Legend's going on. Legend will win it.
Gimme the Green Light stands at Varsfontein Stud and is the property of a syndicate managed by Freeman Stallions.
We can look forward to some top-class racing on the Highveld this coming Saturday when the Justin Snaith superstar O Susanna takes her place in this year's Grade 1 Princess Charlene Empress Club Stakes at Turfentine Racecourse. Men, don't forget to wear your top hat and tails, and hats for the ladies for this royal race day. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Breeding to Win. From myself, Julie Alexander, and the rest of the team, good night.